Hey, welcome everybody to Good to Geek Out. Good to be back with you with my friends discussing Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. Excited to get into it. Lots of good stuff going on. Rob Lucy coming at you. To my left,
Editor coming out of San Antonio, ready to review the Star Spangled Man. Spoilers ahead.
Hey, boy Jay coming at you from Los Angeles, California. Go Falcon.
Rob Strader, Boba Fresh, coming at you from San Francisco. Glad to get the geeks back together. Okay.
Hey, another outstanding episode in my opinion. This series so far has given me everything I've wanted. Amazing action sequence, amazing play between Bucky and Sam, and the plot development is just been stellar, in my opinion, for being this early into the series. What did you think about that action sequence, Rob?
I think they're continuing to deliver. They're giving us what we were saying that we wanted at WandaVision. That we wanted to have the action amped back into the MCU, and I think it's great doing it this way because they remind us that Winter Soldier is the best MCU movie, period. And so by them taking it low tech, super spy instead of outer space crazy. Like really, it's literally grounding us. It's like Batman beating up a mugger in the alley. Like we're resetting to viable villains, and yeah, I thought it was all good.
I mean, the cold open with who we know is the new Captain America from the last episode,
Right.
And him you don't know where he's at, and then you realize he's at Warlock. He's at his high school, and it's his old locker, and his wife or girlfriend comes in, who is, by the way, a person of color, which I truly admired. And then his friend who's with him, you don't know who he is yet, African-American guy. Just a lot of diversity going on really early on, and come out and you get to see him first exposed as Captain America, and that through his eyes and his lens and what that looks like.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because it played into the very first Captain America movie where he's like, I want to get out there and work. I don't want to be a propaganda tool. I know it's important. I need to sell war bonds, or I need to, build up the American spirit. That's not what he's about, being a 3-time Medal of Honor winner. And his friend explains it to him. Hey, this is the job. The job is basically, being a cheerleader for America, being a propaganda machine. But we have other work to do down the road too. But let's handle this, and then we'll move on to the next thing later. So there are a lot of parallels between the Steve Rogers and the Johnny Walker kind of getting into their roles as Captain America. I felt a lot of sympathy for him. You want to not like him, but through the writing of this episode, the way it was directed, it's like it's hard kind of not to like him, other than he's holding, Steve Rogers' like shield, and they play that, against him with Bucky and Sam Wilson later in the episode.
I disagree. It's easy not to like him.
Yeah.
What was your impression of him?
My impression of him was that he's trying to be something that he's not, but he's trying to play it off. He's being disingenuous. Like I feel like he's being disingenuous. He reminds me of one of those guys where it's just like, I'm good, man. I'm good, but I'm really a jerk. I'm just playing it off like I'm good, but I'm really a jerk.
I think you can see some of that towards the end of the episode.
Yeah. I mean,
he's hiding it.
I always thought that.
Yeah,
I always thought that, and he proved it. He actually proved it.
I'll be devil's advocate here. In his defense, he was getting pushback from those guys the entire time. He's finally like, "Hey, fuck you guys, then. Like, if you're not gonna, if you're not gonna jump on board, I've tried."
I agree with both of you, but I want to note how two grown men who love comics and have the same moral compass are reacting to these characters, because this show is written with race in mind. It is written for people to identify with certain characters whether uncomfortable or not, and then kind of make the conversation happen. I do believe that John Walker is written as a sympathetic character. Them opening up in the high school scene was great. Them showing us how we confuse our athlete heroes with public figures and political figures, and not to say that you shouldn't use your platform, BLM, and take a knee and do all that stuff, but the way that it is being handled is this propaganda tool. And he gets up there, and for a second he seems uncomfortable, I feel, and then he gets into the role. And that's when I think I agree with Jay that he shows his disingenuous side. I think in the locker room, he genuinely is trying to live up to something that he knows he can't live up to. But he gets out on, and
he
then he gets out to the field
in
and
the locker room. He said it himself that he's not trying to be Captain America. Now, the thing about it is that when he did, I mean, what you said, Rob, about like, you know, he was getting pushback. I mean, he has to understand why that pushback, you know, was coming. He should understand most of all. Like the government basically kind of, you know, coerced, you know, him to give up the shield. And then all of a sudden it's like the government, I mean, really it's the government's fault. But the fact of the matter is that John was put in that role. And I don't know, I've been around people from experience where it's like, okay, they seem good to the public eye. They seem good to the public eye, but there's always that disingenuous side, like, hey, dude, like, just say you're an asshole. Don't sit up here and make it seem like, hey, man, I'm all good. But behind the scenes, you're an asshole. And he showed that. He clearly showed that. I had a feeling. Now, to be honest.
Hold on, but I also want to say, like, you know, not to cut later on to the scene, but to like also support Lucy's side. Then he also goes on, like, you know, have you ever hopped on a grenade? Bucky's like, you know, you ever hopped on a grenade? He's like, okay, you know, like 4 times. It's the thing with my grenade, my helmet. It's reinforced. It's a whole, you know, forget about it. That scene was the most charismatic and likable and like most relatable part of that's the closest he comes to being Steve. And it's not the action of the hopping on the grenade. It's the trying to like play it off. It's like it's the humility. Steve isn't just guts and strength. He's humility, but he's also a moral compass. And that's the thing that this Captain America at this point needs to prove.
I think there's a lot of moral ambiguity. You know, they first go after the flag smashers and you think, oh, they're stealing weapons. We got to go find out what's going on. Turns out they're stealing vaccines. They're not stealing drugs. They're not stealing weapons. They're stealing vaccines. So, you know.
Yeah, there's something to that. There's something to that. For the
I
record,
think that's I love you, cat. And I think that there's something to that. The fact that they painted the flag smashers also as a sympathetic, quote, you know, they're not villains, they're antagonists. You know, like they're not out to kill people just to kill people. They're not out to, you know, to rob banks or, you know, some, you know, more petty crime. Like they're a high flying ideal where they compare them literally to Robin Hood. And I want to say I'm super stoked to see freckle homegirl from Han Solo in something else. Dope casting call. And I love you.
for the record, I kind of knew, like, I forgot who said, you know, when we saw the black guy by John Walker, like they didn't know. When I saw him and I saw John Walker go into his locker room, and then I saw the black guy and I was like, no, they didn't. I thought to myself, no, they didn't do this. They did not just do this. And the comics just start reappearing in my head, and that stupid suit start reappearing in my head. And I'm like, oh no, they did not just do this.
They did a good take on Battlestar's suit. The bulletproof vest with the star stitched into it over his red, white, and blues, I thought were...
Y'all really doing the racial issue here. That's what I thought. I like. This is a different change from WandaVision. Y'all went straight into the action, which I like.
I will also say Red Wing is probably one of my favorite new characters. If like what BB-8 is supposed to be and R2-D2 and those types of like cute droids, like this is a really cute droid.
Was.
Red Wing was. Well, it'll be back. Red Wing too. Who cares? But I mean, it showed character and like the way it was messing around with Bucky and like it actually had like some semblance of in some artificial intelligence and personality. I thought that was kind of
yeah.
And the design was hella cool, and it's really smart because that way they have Red Wing be something that we can emotionally invest in, that they can kill for an emotional reaction, because that way they don't have to. When Battlestar goes off the back and Cap throws the shield, new Cap throws the shield.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, like this, that was smooth. That was smooth. I gotta give you credit.
That was smooth. I agree.
Yeah, I think they've so far done especially in this episode, done a great job of adding in that comic interaction between them, but also, you know, touching on a lot of racial things, getting really deep into it when they go see, and I can't remember his name right now. Somebody remind me.
Isaiah Bradley.
Ed has it down. Isaiah Bradley. And you get, you know, so he's like, hey man, I was the super soldier and they threw me in jail and they experimented on me. That's what I get for serving my country. Don't come in here with that bullshit. And then right outside they get harassed by the cops.
I'm gonna let you get into this, Jay, because I know you got a big thing on this. But I want to say about the Isaiah Bradley before you do is how you can tell it's written by a black voice. And he says, when him and Bucky are going back and forth, and he's like, if you mean I'll whoop your butt, if you mean by I'll beat you, I'll whoop your butt. I was just like, oh yeah, like that's my dad right there. Like, like this shit was on point. But I know Jay was clamoring for
a
little
I spoke about this last time. And I didn't think they were going to put it in there, but when they did put it in there, I was like, yes, like put it in there. But I was still like, you know what? It all makes sense, because when he spoke, and some of that is true in the comic book, you know, the way they do Marvel comic book, you know, Marvel superheroes, like back then, they really played on the whole racial thing. I mean, example, Blue Marvel, or if anybody knows this story. But Josiah X or Isaiah Bradley, yeah, he was a black King Captain America that was kept hush, hush, shh. We don't want you to find out about it. So it all makes sense that, you know, Sam Wilson, basically they took the shield away from him, you know, and we don't want you to represent it. So it's like, you know, then they did to Isaiah Bradley, we're just going to stick you away, you know.
They did not take this. See, they did not take the shield away from Sam, by the way. Sam gave it up.
He gave it up.
With that said, the general said, Sam, you know, you did the right thing by doing this, because they were going to go get the shield.
They wanted him to do it.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's going to be a problem there.
They would have got it one way or another, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
they would have gone.
So I think he did do the right thing.
They were going to get the shield. They were going to get the shield.
And to get back to the Isaiah Bradley part, the parallels with the Tuskegee experiment, the idea of him being locked away, him now being, you know, in a rundown neighborhood and like not having any of the prestige of the Avengers Tower or anything that goes on with that. And the pain that man exudes in that scene is fucking acting, but it's pulling from somewhere real. Like, you know,
it's Carl Lumbly. It's Carl Lumbly.
It's the Mantis.
It's the Mantis. You know he can act. You can feel it.
Yeah, he really pulled out those chops there. And of course, we gotta holler out to Patriot. Let's get the paper, Patriot.
The Patriot. One more. Listen, when
Lucy,
Sam
the kid who opened up the door, Isaiah Bradley's grandson in the comics, is Young Avengers Patriot.
Young Avengers Patriot.
Oh, nice.
And then they hit you with the police scene.
Yeah.
And it was fucking amazing. It almost had me that feel and Get Out when the cop car pulls up, and I was like, oh but I was like, oh, ain't no one we like coming out of there.
That
And
pissed me.
just back and forth, and the fact that Bucky again is just, they're just showing the complete disparity of how race is treated in the eyes of law enforcement, and especially with it dropping this episode, that scene dropping the same week of the Derek Chauvin murder trial over George Floyd. And so, like, it's serendipitous, but I would almost say that they knew when they were gonna, I don't know, it's very serendipitous. And then the therapist. Lucy, what'd you think about that therapy? What'd you think about that couple's therapy?
Well, it was way better than any couples therapy I've ever had before.
That's in a lot.
I wish my therapist was that good. Thank you. There's my therapist. Again, just developing the relationship with them. It's a way to hit the fast forward button on the relationship development. That comic play off of each other. They're both alpha males, but they kind of want to be friends, and how they're gonna. She says it. This is how to build a relation. What do you see your relationship going forward as? And it breaks down at the very end. When Sam walks out, and I thought it was really poignant when Bucky left, and he said, "What was rule number 2, Doctor?" Because I think he was referring to her hurting his feelings, and one way or another by bringing Sam in, and I thought that was is kind of an interesting twist there. But I hope to see more of it. I hope that's not the last we see of her. What did you think, Ed? Ryan, or Rob?
I want to get to your wording on the alpha male part. They are both alpha males, but they're both betas to Captain. Like they're both sidekicks. Like that's literally like in their character's DNA. They're both wingmen. And so you have this very interesting situation where you have two betas trying to figure out who's the alpha, and they never really give the edge on one over the other. Like I kind of side with Falcon because he's got, the mission going on, and Bucky's just kind of like, I don't know, what the fuck? Come on. It's named
I think
after
they
the
were
guy
competing over who's the better friend. Who's the better friend to Captain America? Because of course Bucky grew up with him as his best friend, but then when Bucky was away, then he grew close with Sam. So it was like they had that thing like, wait a minute, who the hell are you? Like, I'm Steve's friend. No, I'm Steve's friend.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm Steve's friend. Like, no, you can't be Steve's friend. I'm like, I grew up with him. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know who you are, but I'm his
but
friend.
at the same time, at the end of Endgame, when Old Cap is sitting on the bench, Bucky's like, yo, like go, like you go talk to him. Like he wasn't like, I need to go talk to my best friend because he's my best friend first. Like he knows the relationship that Sam has with him, and I think it shows that Bucky and Steve had already made some kind of closure before any of that had happened, and Steve wanted to have some closure with his modern best friend.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the power broker was mentioned?
Power broker playing a part. Very cool.
I think the power broker is coming, which kind of alludes like, why are they afraid of the power broker? Or what's the moral ambiguity going on here is they're on the run from the power broker. They're stealing vaccines, but they're also getting chased down by the new. That's definitely going to develop further.
Then the power brokers seem to have a connection with the government on some level too, because we have to figure out where the super serum had come from. I think that John Walker has some super serum version in him. I don't think he's just a dude.
Yeah, because
which made me stop and think while I was watching. We can put this in a different thing. Asterisk. It made me think it is impossible that Bruce Wayne has not taken some form of super serum. It is impossible. Going through the Lazarus pit itself puts you into superhuman realm. So I cannot see how this guy he's like, oh no, like my ribs are broken. I'm going to shoot this into me. So that's going to make my ribs heal faster. dude, man, you just fucking just stuck in some Wolverine jeans, man. You stop fucking with us, dude.
You saw the way he threw that shield.
Whisper.
The way he threw that shield was just like Cap.
Oh,
They
yeah.
wanted to make sure it was him, and they didn't just use a Cap scene from like another episode, from like a movie, but it was him. I was like, oh shit, all right.
Look, I saw the way that John Walker threw that shield. I think he got a little something in him too.
Yeah, he got a little something.
This is planned, obviously.
Mhm.
Which is why I
He
said
was
they
going toe to toe with those super soldiers.
Yeah.
And we can't get out of here without mentioning that Bucky read an original copy of The Hobbit.
that was cool. 1937. Oh, I read it when it first came out in 1937. Because like, how do you know about Gandalf? See, that's where Falcon was like, bro, he's 106 years old. Like, come on. Side note, Rob, I agree with you on great actors, but not better movies. Another example, Halle Berry, Catwoman. Yeah, gotcha. Anyways, but no, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, the 1937 that was brought up, you know, that was some good writing. And like it showed that, you know, Bucky's character, you know, him being 106 years old, that, you know, he kept in fine literature. I mean, he read stories and, you know, during his time. So yeah, obviously.
And I will say on a meta level, they do an excellent job of, that's how you give fan service without forcing fan service. Like that's like, because everyone at home, every nerd, did you hear that? He said he read that. Like, and then it was boom, boom, boom. They just moved on. You know, like again, like that's how you pay fan service without pandering.
Hey, well, looking forward to see some more of the big three in action: aliens, androids, and wizards, perhaps. Another great episode. Looking forward to the next one. Always great talking with you guys about these episodes. And out from Phoenix, Oregon.
The tour, San Antonio. Buying my Baron Zemo mask tomorrow. Out.
Jay from Los Angeles, California. Out. You know, I might think about cosplaying Sam Wilson. I don't know. Well, we'll see with it, but yeah.
I think you and Lucy would make a great new Cap and Battlestar. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing that out there.
I think the way we are, yeah, I think we got that Falcon Winter Soldier thing where it's like, yeah, we agree, but we don't agree. I
don't know. I think you guys would really kill it with the Battlestar.
I'm not doing the Battlestar. I'm not doing the Battlestar thing. I'll do Falcon, but I'm not doing the Battlestar thing, bro.
Okay. And
I'll do Night Thrasher 100 times before I ever do that guy.
We love you for it, Night Thrasher. And this is Boba Fresh from San Francisco. Have yourself a glass of Johnny Walker while watching John Walker, and you can next week listen to this talker.
Boo, U.S. agent. Boo.